And today I'm going to show you some tips on how I created this user experience. Some things in particular is how to create a scrolling page. I'm going to show you that. Also how I designed this for different screen sizes. We have thousands of people looking at this dashboard, all on different screen sizes. How do I make sure that the visualizations show properly, things don't get totally crowded? That's another key thing. And I'm going to show you how I hid the menu bars and I hid the status bar on the bottom. So you'll see here a typical view in the web player is you'll have this menu bar here and you'll have at the bottom this status bar. I've already turned off the navigation here. So I'll start right away with this tip, how I did this. So in order to hide some of these features, you'll use something called configuration blocks. And we have a whole community page describing how configuration blocks work. I'll put this in the video description if you want to see more detail. You can do some very sophisticated things, jumping to certain pages, applying certain filters and filter criteria, all when people just go to a certain link. So using the same dashboard, having some pre-configured settings. So here we can also turn off UI elements. And the way you go to these configuration blocks, the easiest way is you can go to share and go into copy link. And this will give you a little pop-up here with a link to analysis. But if you click on advanced, you'll see all of these other options here. So you can hide some of the menu options that are shown here. This is what are actually in the menu. So you can turn off things like download the DXP, undo, redo, close, log out. You can turn off certain menu options if you like. Now the UI elements are below, and this is things like the toolbar and the status bar, things like that. So I can turn off, for instance, the toolbar if I uncheck this. And what this is actually going to do is actually change the link. So you'll see here, this is all of the configurations here. And as I turn this on and off, you can see it here in the embedded mode. You can see it's 3-0. Now it's going to be either -1 or -0 depending on whether I have the toolbar on or off. So you can see that flipping. So I can choose to turn whatever I want off, and that'll set some of these to 0. And you could copy this link just as it is, or you can just keep note of these numbers and put that in your URL. So here on this page, this is the same exact dashboard, but it's hidden the menu bar, and that's because I have 3-0, 4-0, and 2-0. So that's to hide the menu bar, hide the status bar at the bottom, and hide the navigation bar. So I could just give this link to someone. I could copy this. What you want to do is actually take it from before it says WAID and WAVID. You want to take those out and just have it where it says the name of the analysis and options and then those settings there. And that will, again, turn off those UI elements and give you a clean kind of dashboard view. So next, let's talk about the scrolling nature of this. I'm going to go back into Spotfire Analyst for this. Now here in Spotfire Analyst, again, I have the scrolling page, and you can right click on any of these tabs and you can go to page layout options. Now this is available in older versions of Spotfire, I think going back to even versions of Spotfire 7, before Spotfire 10 was released. You'll have this use fixed page size and this mobile layout. The mobile layout we discussed in another video on mobile design tips, and what that does is when the width of the screen is less than 600 pixels that I have set here, it's going to stack all the visualizations vertically, so it's friendlier for a mobile experience. But even if I'm on a desktop or a tablet where I have more real estate, I can do some other things here and change these sizes. So here I have kind of 1238 on the width, and I have a height less than 8,000. So I've told it that the screen is 8,000 pixels high, and what that does is create this scrolling up to 8,000 pixels. So it'll continue to scroll down here. So to show you a little bit of how this works with other pages, let me go to these trajectories here. So on these trajectories, this page does not scroll. Has everything fit into one page, and if I kind of pull this down into simulating what a smaller screen is, then you'll see that the visualizations all kind of fall into a smaller area here, and the page still does not scroll. What you want to do though is make sure your text areas fit in here, and so what you want to do is, so while the visualizations might come down smaller, the text areas they'll just create a scroll bar. So if you want to prevent that, you go to visualizations, arrange visualizations, and lock visualization area, and you can tell it, hey, lock this to the top, lock this to the right, and that will tell it don't resize these. And you can do this on the edges, the visualizations that are on the edges of the dashboard. So here, now when I go to a smaller page, it hasn't made a scrolling area for the text area. And this will work better for people on smaller screens, that they can read this all at once. But the other visualizations, the charts themselves, will be brought smaller. And the size that I found worked best is, if you go into page layout options here, I have 1167 by 663. And this is keeping in mind that not only are people on smaller screens, but on different browsers, you have things like your bookmarks bar, and you might have other toolbars in your browser. You have some pixels that are lost with some of this vertical space. So 663 is a height that I think works best when you have a smaller screen here. You want people to be able to scroll, but not kind of crunch things in together. Or if you have, for instance, like we did on the trajectories, you want to have it where the text areas fit in. This is a non-scrolling page, but everything still kind of fits in here really well. So now let me show you how to actually design the scrolling page. So here I've just thrown some random visualizations in. A lot of them are the same. I just want to show you the layout. And this is a non-scrolling page. What I do is I put a text area here kind of at the bottom just as a placeholder, and then I go into my page layout options and I can change my width and my height. So I got my width at 1167, I got my height at here it's at 1200. Let's say I want this to scroll a lot. I can put this at 5000 for instance, and what this is going to do is kind of stretch all the visualizations down to fill that 5000. And I don't want obviously these visualizations to be this large, so I can just bring everything up to how I want it. Let me do that for a second here. Okay, so I went ahead and rearranged my visualizations as I like them. You can see I have this now scroll down. I added another little table visualization here, and I have this now all scroll down. Now this text area is taking up all of this space. I have a lot of white space at the bottom. I can just turn off the title bar for the text area and leave that as white space if I want. And then I can continue to add new visualizations in this space if I'd like to. Or what you can do is, once you have this all kind of configured the way you want it, you can then go ahead and change the page layout options, change this down to something more like the size that you need. So I've changed this to 1200, and you can see that this has now crunched everything at the top. It's made room for the text area. I'll just X out the text area now, and I know how much space I need, so I can just bring this down to the way I had it with the space that I already kind of determined that I need. And this way we can now have kind of some scrolling functionality, and have it all just kind of fit within this page. Now you want to do this when you're covering a analysis topic, kind of a subtopic. There might be many different questions one might want to answer. They don't want to flip through a lot of different pages. So this allows you to kind of provide insights to different questions related to that topic all on one page, have the user kind of continuously go through this as you narrate the analysis, and help them guide them through the insights that they're looking